Okay, this video we're going to be looking at a whole range of challenging policy questions related to describing the benefits of education policies, particularly for the goals. So the first question, this was asked in the first video, explain how the Youth Jobs Path program might increase the employability of workers. So, talk about the Youth Employment Program. It was designed to ensure young people were maximising their potential and taking advantage of the new opportunities. The program was created due to businesses' ongoing request that the government needs to do more to improve the employability of young people and give them suitable real-life work experience. So the program was opened up to young unemployed citizens who'd been without a job for 6 months and included 3 key stages. The first was 6 weeks of employability skills training, where potential employees learned basic job skills and training to understand their expectations in the workforce. This included interview skills and the opportunity to participate in programs. The second stage was a 4 to 12 week internship program where the government gave subsidies of up to $1,000 for those businesses that hired interns. The final stage was an employer wage subsidy of up to $10,000 paid up over 6 months for employers to hire eligible job seekers. The idea of the program is to equip youngest workers with the skills necessary to excel in the current work environment and reduce youth unemployment by giving them these skills going forward. Explain how greater spending on education and training can help the economy to achieve low inflation and strong and sustainable growth. Define the goals, so low inflation, 2 to 3% on average over the course of the business cycle. Strong and sustainable growth, the maximum sustainable rate of economic growth with increased employment without leading to external inflationary or environmental problems. 1 mark for defining the goal. Okay, it generally occurs between 3 to 4%. Then you start to talk about what education will do. So education helps to boost the productive capacity and aggregate supply and help to ensure sustainable rates of economic growth. It helps to improve the quality of our labour resources. It makes our workers more productive. But more than that, it makes them more innovative and dynamically efficient for businesses. Try and be a bit more specific. Talk about the skills that they would generate. So by increasing efficiency, it helps to reduce labour shortages, helps to reduce wage costs, and therefore makes businesses more willing to produce. The increased productivity should help to reduce wages, reduce costs of production, and that will help make firms more willing to supply goods and services. And that's when you got that additional link is that the lower prices boost our international competitiveness, and that flows on to help to create more growth and demand for Australian products as well. So you define the 2 goals, you link it to productivity, a more adaptive, more dynamic workforce. You could provide examples, so like providing students with critical thinking skills, coding skills, etc. But the key thing is that it reduces wage pressures, boosts productivity, makes us more internationally competitive, makes firms more willing to supply, but also increases demand because of our lower prices. Explain how increased government spending on training and education can assist with the domestic macroeconomic goals. Okay, I'm going to go through this relatively quickly because it's a bit similar. Define the 3 macroeconomic goals. Benefits include that in the short term there's more demand for educators and trainers, so that could boost employment and growth in the short term. In the medium to long term, it boosts our productive capacity and allows us to achieve sustainable rates of economic growth. By increasing the quality of our labour resources, we become more productive, innovative and dynamic. Recent policies have focused on improving creativity and critical thinking skills, which should boost the productivity of our future labour force. This should help them make them more adaptive and better at finding solutions to problems and being more creative with the production process. Future workers should be able to identify and introduce new ways to produce goods and services, again, so making them more adaptive. The government is focusing on innovation and looking at ways to develop new technologies so that we have skills that can be used in the future. Provide examples of what they're doing. So the focus on STEM, on science, technology, engineering and maths, are seen as a future driver for future economic performance. By increasing efficiency and developing these skills, it reduces labour shortages, reduces wage pressures, and therefore encourages productivity and willingness to supply. This should also help to lower production costs for firms and make us more internationally competitive. So with a question like this, you're defining the goals, you're explaining the benefits of education for a more dynamic, adaptive workforce. You provide examples of things they're actually doing. If you can do that, it will provide a lot of concrete and improve the quality of your answers. So by focusing on STEM, by developing skills in critical thinking and coding, we can keep our prices down, we can remain competitive, we can remain at the forefront and remain internationally competitive. Explain why appropriate primary, secondary and tertiary education might be associated with an increase in supply. Okay, it boosts the quality of our labour, it boosts the skill levels and makes them more employable. It should help to reduce structural unemployment. It also helps to address skill shortages, and then it also provides them with new skills, so creativity, critical thinking skills, which can boost the productivity of our labour force. This makes them more adaptive at finding solutions to problems and thinking of creative ways in the production process to produce things, and this should help to increase output per unit of labour. Okay. It also encourages training and education in other areas, so vocational training. The government has focused on STEM programs recently, which will increase the willingness and ability of businesses to supply and help to reduce skill shortages and boost our productive capacity. Identify one other area of education spending not mentioned in the stimulus and how it will boost international competitiveness. So you've got to choose two things we've talked about, which could be the STEM, it could be the Restart program, so keeping older workers in the labour force, and link that to participation and competition for jobs. And that will help to boost our international competitiveness, which will create jobs and boost incomes. That also makes us more adaptive. Slow growth in wages can help to keep production costs down and boost international competitiveness. And that will allow material living standards to increase because more people get access to a job, which boosts their purchasing power because they're on a lot more than they would be if they're on Newstart. By reducing skill shortages, it helps to boost material living standards, and non-material living standards improve because it creates better self-confidence, self-esteem, access to greater connections, and reduced crime rates. And lastly, describe how appropriate spending on education and training can reduce full employment. Define the goal of full employment. Okay, and spending on education can reduce structural unemployment because it provides workers with the skills they need to be employable. It also creates more demand for educators and resource materials, which increases the derived demand for labour, as well as reducing structural unemployment, bringing us closer to that goal of 4 to 5%.